Now you can't hear this, but we only have one speaker left. Sounds awful. All the other speakers are blown, so let's change these speakers in this Honda Civic. So to do the speakers, we need these wiring harness adapters, unless you want to cut into the wires, but if you don't, you can just get these adapters. And we need a set of these rings for the front doors, and it's the same ones for the back doors. There's the part number. So we're gonna put these speakers in the car, these JVC ones. Got them on clearance for a good price. High output sound for factory upgrade. So we'll see, in fact, if it is a factory upgrade. So let's take a look inside the box. Let's see what they look like. These JVCs. Ooh. Actually look pretty decent. All right, well, hopefully they sound as good as they look. All right, so now we're gonna take off the door panel. So if we squeeze in here, we can see here's a handle and there's a little tab under there. Right in there, we'll use a screwdriver, we'll pop that out. Then we're gonna have to pop this out. Now we'll get our screwdriver. There's a Phillips bolt in there, right here. Look right in there where the screwdriver is pointing, right in there. There's a little tab. We push the center in. There we go. Pushed it in. You can see the center went in. And then we'll get our little screwdriver and we will just pull it out. Before we do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to pop this thing off. Okay, so now we're gonna try to remove this plastic piece. You can see there's a little tang right in there. So we're gonna try to get that, pull it up if we can. Should be able to just, there we go. I know it sounds like it broke, but it did not. And you can see it just comes up just like this. It's out. And then all we gotta do is go to our handy dandy connector right there. I'm gonna push this little plastic tab in, pull this out. So that's out. Now you can see there's a hidden bolt right there, a Phillips screw. There we go. And you can see it's already starting to loosen up the whole panel. You can, like I said, this thing already is loose. So we should be able to pull this up soon. There, oh, actually the clip came out right there. That was the one we pushed in earlier. So in order to pop off this whole panel, we can use a trim panel removal tool, something like this. And we gotta put it in the side. Now when you put it in the side, be careful when you're putting it in the side not to jam it in because you don't wanna scratch up all your paint. So you'll put it in lightly and then you'll try to find the panel clips. So we're sliding our tool in just like so. And we're gonna slide down till we can feel one of the panel. There we go. You can actually feel I've loosened up one. I'm gonna keep sliding down. Now, once you get this thing gap here, you can actually just kind of pull with your hands. There you go, we're pulling the whole panel forward. And I'm reaching all around the door. There you go, and there we go. Now, if you wanna pan back, look at this, we can lift up and the whole door panel has come off. So now that we got the panel loose, you can see this piece here before. So here's some clips. So we actually just go like this. We can kind of slide it through the door like this, and we can just leave it hanging. And now our panel is totally free. So let's just get that right out of the way, like so. And then if we look in here, nice and close, we can see there is our factory speaker right there. One thing I should explain, you can see the door here, all these little clips right here, these white clips, these are what we were taking out. Now, sometimes what can happen is if you look at the side of the door here, the white clips actually stayed in the door and we have to put them back in here, into the door right here. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna get out our trusty tool and we're gonna pull them out of the door like this, and then we take it back over, and then we can just transfer it back in just like this. Okay, so here we're at the speaker, and you can see we can use our Phillips. There we go. And let's see, should almost come out, I believe. There we go. And now, if we lift up, there we go. There is our factory speaker. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna squeeze these two tabs. One's on this side, one's on this side. So we're gonna squeeze them, and then we can just pull it. Looking like the back part is broken off, but that's all right. There we go, just like that. So you can see we've taken off the speaker, and actually they're a little corroded there, so that's why that was hard to get out. So actually, if you want to do I'll show you a quick check how to check to see if your speakers are working or not. Here's the brand new one. We know it's good, so we can lay it down. It's 4 ohms. So if you look right there, each speaker will be 4 ohm, 8 ohm, 6 ohm. They'll have different ones. This is 4 ohm. So you put your ohm meter on the ohm right there, and you can see right there we have it's open right now because they're not touching. So if we touch one to this side and one to this side, we should get close to 4 ohms because that's what the speaker says. So now if we look at our multimeter, and we can see our multimeter is, there we go, close to 4 ohms, 3.5, it's just me moving around, 3.4, there we go, 4.1. So yeah, so we're right around 4 ohms, and the multimeter was showing close to 4. So now we have our factory speaker, and we're gonna check it. So what we can do, we don't know what ohms it is, but it should be something. If we touch these together, we can see our multimeter changes to 0, or close to 0. There we go, that's a dead short. So we should have something. So now if we put one on this side and one on this side, we can see the multimeter is still saying open. So what that means is we've just proved that our speaker is in fact blown. So we're not replacing these for nothing. Okay, so we can see our factory speaker had a big plastic ridge on it and actually had some plastic tangs that kind of went in the door, and then there was one screw on the top. So we can see that's how that is. Now, if we look at our other speaker down there for a second, I'll just pick it up, there we go. We can see it's totally different. So what we have to do is put these rings in. And there we go. And we can see those two tangs, similar, matching the factory speaker. You can actually see it's very, very close, and it has the one bolt on top. So our speaker should fit in there just nicely. So if we grab our speaker, okay, so how we're gonna put this in is we have our bracket here, which is actually gonna just pop in the door like that. So I found the best way to get this speaker on is to actually take your ring, line up the 2 holes there with the 2 holes there. So we're gonna line it up just like that. Push it in to clip it on. There, you can see it's clipped on, just like that. Make sure it's snug. There we go. It's on. We have our wires there. And now we've already clipped our wires onto our speaker earlier, and then this can just plug in. So we're gonna plug that in. And then what we can do is we can just put our speaker in. We wanna make sure we line up one of these. There we go, with the flash so we can see. So yes, so we wanna line up one of these ridges here, so the top bolt will go in. And then in these little slots here, we're just gonna find another hole within the speaker around it somewhere where the screw's gonna fit, and we can put another bolt in. Okay, here we go. So let's put this like this. That goes like so. Okay, so now we're gonna put the door back together. We got all our clips here. They're gonna pop into here. What we wanna do is there's our trusty door handle. We're gonna snake that right through there. Just clip it back into place. They're kind of tight. There we go. That's back into place. We want to make sure we have our one clip here for our power window, so we're going to pull that through, and then all we have to do is lift it. We got to make sure it's over this lip first, the window lip, just like here. So I'm lining it up. So it's going to go over. There we go. There we go, and you can see now it actually just hangs just like this. And because we have it in here, it sort of self-centers itself. This is for our power windows. So now all we have to do is give her a bang. And this is what no one wants to show you, is actually how it goes back on, because it looks like you're braking the car, but you're not. And then when I feel around with my fingers all the way around the door, I can feel there's no space. It's nice and tight, so that's good. So what we have to do is just put those couple, the one clip and the one bolt in there. Okay, so in the door handle, I have, there's actually only 2 bolts right there. The short one goes in the door handle up in there, and then the silver one goes right in there. And this plastic clip I'm showing you here, just make sure you pull it out, because once we push it in, it'll expand, goes right in here. So we're just gonna pull the handle back. This will fit right in here. Our power switch. So we just plug this in. And then now all we do is we fish it in, and you can see here's the tab right there that goes underneath. And these tabs here line up into the door tabs. So we just line it up under there. You kind of got to go by feel. There you go. I pushed it all the way forward. And then now you felt it clip in. All done. So now for the rear ones, you can see I've opened the trunk. I've looked there, so I can see there's the connector for the rear. 1 bolt holding it in, just like that. And then in there you can see there's those two tangs. So here we're just gonna disconnect. So we just squeeze together, just like the door ones. Use 2 hands, but it's easier. There you go, from the bottom, just like that. So now it's disconnected. Okay, so now we're gonna take off to do the rear. You saw earlier we unplugged them. So we got our little trim tool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just pop these up, and actually I can see in here, they should be popping up the other way. So once, if you come from the side, let's see, here we go. We're just lifting them up. There we go, just like so. And then I just popped it up. So start from the outside, work your way in. And the reason is they have these on this side. So if you start from the inside, you won't be able to lift them up. You're gonna break them. So start from the outside, and then they come out, and then they just get lifted up. Okay, so the screwdriver was too long. So we have our ratchet. It's an 8mm. So we're just gonna undo it. Okay, so we have our speaker here, and like before, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put our clips on. Just like that, so that's clipped on. Now we have our bracket. So our bracket, we're gonna move over up here, and we can see we got our 2 holes. One right there, one right there. I know it's difficult to see, but you gotta line up the 2 tangs right here. So we're gonna slide it in. Okay, so now that we've dropped our thing in place there, we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna drop our speaker in, and we're gonna line it up just like that. So there's one of the tangs there. So we can put our bolt in for an alignment, make sure our bolt stays in. Okay, so now we're gonna tighten this down. There we go. Now what we're gonna do, because we can see this side's still loose, I can move it. I didn't tighten this down 100%, but it's nice and snug, is we're just gonna get one of those self-tapping screws, just like on the door, and we're gonna find a tang to go down. Okay, so we were able to line up one of those slots, and that'll be the one right here. You can see there it doesn't work, but there it does. So I have this trusty handy dandy tool here, which is actually kind of neat. So I can put a bit in, because we don't have enough room for a tall screwdriver. Start it like this. Okay, so we have our main bolt, and we've actually put these 2 in to cover the slots. So it's in there nice and tight, it's good. So now we're gonna have our cover to line it up. These 2 things here will go in there, just like so. So we're gonna push those in like that, and then what we do is we just clip it all down like that. There we go, just like that. And that side is done. Okay, so we have both new speakers in. There's one side, there's the other side. Now all we gotta do is just plug them in. So now we're just gonna plug them in, and they are ready to go. So there's one side, and then let's just pan over, and we're just gonna plug in the other side. There we go, done. And now we are done. And actually, we're looking, and they sound pretty good. So awesome, our stereo is done, fixed.